Welcome, everybody, to another scintillating installment of the Creeper Corner. I'm one of your co-hosts, Lucas, and across from me is your other co-host, Lee. Lee, how are you doing, friend?
The chin says he's doing well.
Who's the chin?
It's my chin.
Oh.
Yeah,
your chin's a separate character on the show now?
It must be, because that's how you refer to me.
Does he get third billing?
He does. The chin.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So, this is episode 3, I believe, of the Creeper Corner. Is that correct, Lee?
This is the most that we've made through any podcast. Episode 3.
Oh, we did a few with An Evening With, and I think we did 4 episodes of Around the Mountain, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, but this one's been, we've kept it on schedule.
3 weeks in a row, guys. Can we go for 4? Let's find out after tonight, after we see what Lee picked for our movie. Lee, what'd you pick for us tonight, son? Make it a good one. Make it a good one.
It's going to be a classic. I picked Dead Rising Watchtower. Now, Dead Rising is a video game by Capcom that everyone already should know, but I have yet to watch the first movie that was made. According to you, there's more, but all right, it's going to be a zombie night, folks.
So we're watching a video game zombie movie.
It's
Two great tastes that taste like shit together, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to be a classic.
Dead Rising Watchtower. We'll see you after the kick-ass theme song.
All right.
Welcome back, everyone, to the land of the living, where I just survived a horrendous, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think. This movie has mind-fucked me in so many different ways. My mind has been dulled to a fucking sandstone by this fucking movie.
So what you're saying?
Sorry for dropping fuck so many times, but fuck this movie.
So what you're saying is my first pick was delicious. This one is
Your
not.
first pick was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
This pick sucks fucking dick. I mean, there's no way to get around it. And I'm sorry if people are offended by my use of the word fuck, but Jesus, this movie fucking sucked.
I'm sorry if they're offended by that, and then you just say the Lord's name. Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, let's get into the good stuff here.
Ooh, good stuff.
Some performances that stood out for you, either good or bad.
I actually thought Rob Riggle was pretty good in the role of Frank West. I did. I really, really did.
Okay, well, I'm glad somebody did. I've seen Rob Riggle do much better work. This was not his finest hour. I'll just say that right now.
21 Jump Street. That's all I'm saying.
If I had to point out anybody for like a positive performance, maybe Dennis Haysbert. But he's just basically being Dennis Haysbert. He's basically the Allstate guy in an army uniform.
Basically.
In this movie. So,
yeah.
You know.
Well, you can't win them all.
Everybody else, I think they're trying for the most part, but
it wasn't terrible acting. It wasn't like something you'd see on sci-fi.
It was incredibly mediocre.
Oh, it was
incredibly mediocre acting, trying to elevate whatever you want to call this writing. You know.
Well, it was based on a video game.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. Do you think that if I had played the video games, the Dead Rising video games, that I would have enjoyed this movie a little bit more?
I honestly think you would have. There was a lot of fan service for the players of the games.
Right.
A lot of Easter eggs in the background. A lot of the same weapons you could make in the video games.
Mm-hmm.
They even took the characters and put them part of this universe, which is what Resident Evil tried to do and failed miserably.
There's another movie I don't really want to talk about. But we have to talk about this one, so that's what we're doing. By God.
We'll suffer through it.
So I was talking to you earlier while I was getting bored to death by this movie. I wonder if you could compare this movie to something like a Warcraft that came out earlier this year. And I'll tell you why. Both based on video games, both have probably more fan service than I was aware of.
Mm-hmm.
But I would argue that Warcraft is probably the better movie. by a long shot.
Well, yeah, because I mean, look how much budget they had.
Oh, that's true. They had a lot more budget.
Yeah,
This was definitely filmed on like a couple of digital cameras, and
but it was shot well.
it was shot pretty well for what it was. I'll give it that. I won't knock on it for that.
The special effects, the blood, gore. I mean, it was pretty good. I've seen worse. I've seen worse.
I've seen a lot worse too, but I've seen a lot better as well.
Well, same here.
You know.
Survival of the Dead is probably the worst I've ever seen.
Which one is that one now?
It's a direct sequel to Diary of the Dead.
Oh, fuck. Well, that's say no more. Say no more, Lee. That's all I had to hear. Direct sequel to one of the worst zombie movies I've ever seen. That's
and
all you had to say.
To me, it's one of the best.
Well, everybody's got their opinion, even though it's wrong. So, oh Lord. All right, what's next up? What's the next thing? Any favorite parts that stood out for you? Or?
Oh yeah, the clown, Bonzo. I think its name was.
I think that's the name of his van.
Yeah, Bonzo the van. No, it was genuinely creepy to me. Clowns really don't do that much for me, but that clown was creepy. I thought it was creepier than Tim Curry as Pennywise.
I think you're full of shit.
Well,
do y'all want it?
Do y'all want it?
Beep, beep, Richie.
We all float down here.
Oh man, I like it. That's a good movie. Or it was. I don't know if it stands up now. But
well,
it's good when you're 8, 9 years old.
There's a remake coming out, so be prepared for that.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Hopefully not by the same people that made Dead Rising Watchtower.
Oh, speaking of the Watchtower, the whole movie we were waiting for a Watchtower, and at the very last, the movie throws it on as to why it has that subtitle, and it was genuinely surprising and made sense. It really made sense, and I'm like, I can't believe they went that route.
I'll say in one of my positives for this movie, one of my very few positives, I think the eye makeup or whatever, the eye effects for the zombies was done pretty well. It's a very pale white in the, what would you say, iris or cornea or whatever.
Yeah, it's like there's no color. It was just white with a black pupil.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty well done. That made for a very unsettling effect.
That's why the clown was creepy.
Right.
And he laughed. It was weird.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any other positive I can put towards this movie. Guys, I'm just not a big fan of zombie movies at all. I'm so zombied out. I've been zombied out for about 4 or 5 years now. So, if you're going to be a zombie movie, you got to bring me something fresh to the table, because otherwise it's been done before. It's all been done. And this movie has been done before. I'm sorry.
It has been done better, but as far as a video game movie, it was decent. It's not the bottom of the barrel. It's not.
It's not bottom of the barrel, but it's probably around the bottom. It's probably one of 4/5. It's probably the bottom 4/5.
Well, you also mentioned this with Warcraft. We did like how it is part of the same universe. It's canon to the video games. It doesn't try to recreate the video games. It just adds to the story. So I did like that. That was pretty neat.
Right. Well, see, I haven't played the video games, so that argument's lost on me. So.
Yeah. Well, I'd never seen the movie before. I'd had it for about a year and a half now and never just decided to watch it. So I saved it for one of these, and that was a good idea.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what this show is for, to highlight, some of the lesser-known movies that come out. Not so much in theaters, but on DVD and on various streaming sites, iTunes.
This was made for the Crackle app.
Yes.
So,
yes.
There you go.
You could have watched it completely free on the internet, but Lee decided to spend his hard-earned money on a copy.
It was $7.50.
Dead Rising Watchtower.
It was $7.50, and I like zombie movies, so.
Oh, money bags.
Rubbing the chin.
I'm not rubbing my chin.
No, I was.
Exactly. All right. What's some things you didn't like about this movie?
It was long. It was very
It's
long.
way too long.
Yeah, it was 118 minutes.
That is way too long.
Yeah, that's a little long for a zombie film. Yeah.
That's a little long for any film, unless it's
a Marvel film. Come on, just be honest. Be honest. You gotta have the Marvel films.
I think you've gotta grab an audience in like the first 30 minutes if you're gonna take them along for.
The intro was
2
intense.
hours.
The intro was intense, and then it just kind of stopped. I hate when they have a full-on action sequence, and then 2 hours earlier. I don't care what happened 2 hours earlier.
No, you don't like that.
I hate that. Start slow and build to that and keep going. Mm-hmm. Don't show us this and then, here comes the slow part.
Well, they kind of want to kick it off with an exciting scene, and
the
only exciting scene they had was in the middle of the movie, so they move it to the front to get you.
I looked at the clock on the Blu-ray player. The beginning of the movie had that scene where he fought the clown and the cop. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then at 55 minutes is when it shows, okay, we're up to date now. So they took nearly an hour to get back to that point.
Yeah.
Way too long to do that.
Yeah, I agree. You could easily cut about, I would say, 30 minutes out of this movie and still have a movie. I'm not going to say a decent movie, but you still have a movie.
Looking back on last week's episode, RoboShark, I have to say that for as bad as RoboShark was, it was fun to watch.
On a technical level, this was better made than RoboShark.
Oh yeah,
I'm not going to argue that point at all.
It was a legitimate movie.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. This you could call this a legitimate movie. There was legitimate movie stars and no Bill Gates incidents, things of that nature.
Stupid.
Not a whole lot of winking to the camera I noticed on this one. I think it was all mostly fan service to people that had played the games before.
Yeah, it went a few meta jokes in there with the game over screen and the guy actually physically playing Dead Rising 3 on an Xbox controller. They didn't stiff Microsoft. I mean, you saw it was an Xbox One controller.
Right.
So.
Right. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I had problems with the length. Mostly, I just found this movie dull. Nothing really grabbed me. I think the only thing I could really say was kind of neat was the weapons, which I knew that weapons were kind of a big deal in the video games. You could make electric machetes and things of that nature, but you don't see them a whole lot in this movie. They get used for maybe 5 seconds, and they're discarded for a ball bat or something,
Well, if you'd played the games, you'd know that they don't last long. There's a life meter for the weapons.
Right.
And if you find certain magazines and keep them on your inventory, which is where the game becomes, kind of nerve-wracking, you have to minimize your inventory space with, I've got magazines, but I also need health, and I've got these weapons. What do I do? So it becomes, and you can get more inventory slots as you go, but that's where the game's suspense kicks in.
Yeah, well, we're not playing a game. We're watching a movie.
Well, they should have done better.
Yes.
They
should have done better.
I was legitimately entertained by this movie. I didn't hate it in any way, shape, or form. But I have seen lots better.
I would say I hated this movie. I'd say I'm very apathetic towards this movie. I wish they would have done more. I wish they would have went further with the weapons. I did going back to the thing I did like the look of the motorbike psycho dudes or whatever with the
I did
half skull masks and stuff. I wish it would have went a little further with them. What I would like to have seen.
Here it comes.
In this portion of the podcast, what I'd like to have seen, how I would have done it. If I had to be so beholden to the game or something, have it okay, the events of the game happened or whatever. Then 10 years later, it's gone all to shit. And you've got Mad Max meets zombies kind of world where we got bikers and crazy skull masks and psycho tribes and whatnot, and there's zombies out there too eating your face, and you've got to survive by building these crazy weapons. You know.
That's kind of what the games are.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's not.
So basically, you're telling me I wanted to see the game. Is what
You
I to sit down and watch the game.
The game isn't dystopian wasteland, but it's close. Like the town is pretty much deserted, and the boss characters are these psychopaths, what they call psychopaths.
Right.
You get bikers, you get people that have escaped from prison, and they hold people hostage, and the game is dark humor. But there are certain aspects of it that go way beyond just humor. I mean, it just goes into dark territory
right,
with these people's psyches. And the movie didn't really have what they call the psychopaths. They had the bikers, which is, I mean, that was a staple in Dawn of the Dead. That's just a thing, you know. We don't need bikers. Do escaped convicts or something that's rarely ever seen.
Skateboarders,
rollerbladers, you know.
Scootered riders.
Oh, they're crazy anyway.
Rascal riders.
Rollerbladers who take the term seriously. You know what I'm saying?
No, what are you saying?
Put some spikes on the side. You know, like, what do they call those on the wheels on cars?
Kneecappers?
Yeah, kneecappers. Only ankle cappers. That'd be awesome. I mean, it's terrible in theory and probably terrible in practice. Anyway... Whatever.
All right. Before we get to the final scores, and was there anything else that you thought stood out, good or bad, in terms of the movie? Anything else of note? I think Virginia Madsen was kind of wasted. She's been in much better movies than this, and I've seen her do much better work than this.
And she went psychotic and died for no apparent reason. Like...
Well, she was crazy when they found her. She just managed to hold it together until the movie needed her to be gone.
The movie didn't really explain itself that much. Like, I thought the girl that was laying at her feet was her daughter that she had killed, and that's why she was crazy. It didn't really let you in on it that she was looking for her daughter till later when she finds her. Okay, well, that didn't make sense. And then it didn't let you know about the Zombrex until much, much later in the movie.
Right. See, I think you were supposed to play the game, or at least one of the games first, before you even sat down to watch this movie.
Well, you would
and
know
that's what I don't like about that. At least with Warcraft, you know, you had a sense of kind of what was going on, but not really.
It was a prequel. This one is a direct sequel to the first two games.
Yeah.
So, I think they tried.
I'm sure they tried. Yeah. Yeah, they tried. I think they leaned too heavily into the mythos and not made it too accessible to outsiders such as myself.
Well, that's true, but I don't think they expected outsiders to actually watch it like they would the fans of the game.
Yeah, that's probably true too.
Because I mean, it sticks pretty close to what the feeling of the game is. So, you know, there's that. So, anything else you want to add?
No mention of Macklemore as the main villain of the movie.
It's really not Macklemore, but he looks.
It's not
Macklemore,
and it's not Michael Moore. It's a guy that looks like Macklemore, dressed in Braveheart face paint.
Be a cool wrestler. A gimmick for a wrestler, yeah.
Yeah. Lee can't get over the fact he whooped me at WWE 2K17 tonight. He can't get over it. You've been thinking about it over and over.
You've just dated this podcast.
It's true. It's true. Well, until 2K18 comes out.
Well, just know that Goldberg whooped Brock Lesnar's rear end. So
that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get to our final scores, I got a game to play with Lee. I'm going to set my clock here.
What are we doing?
Let's see. Well, I'm going to set this timer for 30 seconds. And what I want Lee to do is to come up with as many porn parody titles for Dead Rising Watchtower as he can in 30 seconds. I'll give you a second or two to take a deep breath.
Oh, my gosh.
Think about it.
I don't know if I could do this.
30 seconds starts now.
Cock Rising Snatch Tower.
Bing!
Oh, man. Come on now. Oh, my gosh. Why did you do this to me?
Because of this right here.
Oh,
18
my gosh.
seconds.
I can't do it. I don't know. I can't think.
Got 10 seconds.
No! It's so funny. That was on the tip of my tongue. Watchtower. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just blanked out.
Oh.
I got one.
Oh, you got one in 30 seconds.
Well, you do it to yourself, too.
When I pick a movie, you can do that to me, all right?
Oh, man. I'll have some good ones right after this.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
Too bad we'll never get to hear them. Okay. Lee, how many Ray Fanchers do you give Dead Rising, Watchtower?
I give Dead Rising, Watchtower, 2.5 Ray Fanchers.
2.5 Ray Fanchers.
I give them that because I've played the games. I knew some of the backstory on the movie. The movie played it straight with the game, had some humor in there. They had the character from the very first game, Frank West, who was played by Wob Wiggle, and I just enjoyed it. I wasn't bored. So 2.5 Ray Fanchers.
2.5 Rays out of 5 from Lee. Lee, I think you're wrong. I think your hideous taste in movies rears its ugly head once again. I have to give Dead Rising, Watchtower a 1.5.
That's still a 0.5 better than RoboShark.
It's true. It's true because it was competently made.
Yeah.
There were people behind the scenes that knew what they were doing and tried to accomplish something, as opposed to RoboShark. But this one, I was just bored out of my skull, and that's probably the worst thing you can do to me. Like I've said in earlier reviews for DuckSquad, at least Batman vs. Superman, Fantastic Four, at least those movies filled me with an emotion. Nerd rage as it was, but it still filled me with some sort of emotion. This movie left me cold and dead inside.
Much like
I yearned
title.
for the sweet release of death as I watched every minute tick by on the Blu-ray player.
Oh my gosh! Wow, he gives it a better score than RoboShark, but yet wanted to die during this one.
The experience of RoboShark was a 5.
Well, that's true.
The movie itself was a 1.
We were entertained,
but I enjoyed watching RoboShark. I would watch RoboShark again.
Sadly,
probably.
I probably would too. As much
opposed to this one.
After I said last week, no, I never would. But
now, would my grade be higher if I'd played the games beforehand? Possibly. But as it is, as an outsider looking in, I can't give this higher than a 1.5. I'm sorry, Lee.
That's okay.
You've been beaten once again.
We tried.
By the best it's ever been, but I do want to thank you for stopping by.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man.
Oh, Lord. All right. Well, that's all I've got for Dead Rising, Watchtower. Lee, anything else you want to add? Anything you got to plug?
Well, you didn't ask how we would remake it or do the sequel.
I did.
Did you?
I talked about it, yeah.
Well, you didn't ask me.
Because I know what you'd fucking say.
Oh, is that it?
This movie is great as is. All right, let's give Lee his own little segment here, uninterrupted. Lee, how would you do it?
I like it as is.
That's exactly what I thought.
I would have actually liked to have seen an original story using the character from the first game. I like Rob Riggle, and I like the Frank West character. They probably should have went that route. Or even just made a movie about the game, but that would have cost way more than what this movie was trying to do. So, yeah, for what they did, it was okay. And there is a sequel, so I can't really say anything.
Do you have the title of the sequel?
Yes. Dead Rising, Endgame.
Endgame. Ooh. Spookies.
All right, that's all I got.
All right. This movie received a 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb. And IGN, the video game site, gave this movie a 6.2 out of 10. So
that's not bad.
That's not awful. You can see this movie for free on Crackle. If you want to pay your hard-earned money to watch this movie, I feel sorry for you. But the option is out there on YouTube and Google Play. It's available on Vudu, iTunes, Amazon Video. And Lee found it on DVD from a evil shaman in the back alleys of Newport,
and known as Walmart.
Now his soul is lost to demons forever in the Neverworld because he sold his soul.
We're just going to go ahead and call this the Neverhood.
I don't know what he's talking about. But anyway, that's all we've got, folks. We'll see you next time with a movie of my choosing. Hopefully it'll be just as good, if not better, than Dead Rising Watchtower. Folks, we'll see you later.
Take care.
Wubba lubba dub dub.